Hello and welcome to USPAACC LiveTALK. My name is Tracy Balaz. I am the project director for USPAACC's Community Navigation Pilot Program. Today, I have the honor to speak with 4 individuals who represent 4 of the 15 USPAACC spokes in this program. As background, USPAACC was awarded a Tier 1 national grant from the SBA to work with the underserved and unserved Pan Asian American AAPI small businesses in 5 states. The Community Navigation Pilot Program, also known as the CNPP, connects these businesses with critical business services and assistance. USPAACC is the hub, providing management, guidance, and technical assistance support through a network of 15 organizations known as the spokes that deploy community advocates and subject matter experts to work with those small businesses in California, Georgia, Illinois, New Jersey, and in Texas. Our mission is to provide in-language support in 4 critical areas: financial assistance and assistance to capital, marketing, operational and business development, contracting and procurement, industry-specific training. Today, our talk features 4 spoke organizations and their leadership and how their work and experiences enhance the CNPP in supporting the small, underserved, and unserved businesses in target service areas in their state. Each of these spokes were selected because of their working relationship with USPAACC and their specialized knowledge and experience and current work with small businesses. I'm going to introduce you to 4 of our leaders that work with these spokes. Lily Lowe is the CEO and founder of the Northeast Community Credit Union in B Chinatown. They are well-known institutions in Chinatown community of San Francisco and have been helping the business owners there for years. Lily, welcome.
Thank you, Tracy. Hi, my name is Lily Lowe, and I'm happy to be here. Thank you.
Thank you, Lily. Jay Ungos is the program director of the Asian Business Association of Orange County. He has been instrumental in bringing together large and small local businesses, as well as the community leaders, to work with each other under the auspices of this association. Jay, welcome.
Hi, Tracy. Glad to be here. Thanks for having me.
Thanks, Jay. Ryan Sylvester has an extensive knowledge and background with the Small Business Development Center of New Jersey. He is the USPAACC Northeast Chapter Spoke Program Manager. Ryan, welcome.
Hi, Tracy. Thank you. Super excited to be here and looking forward to this.
Thanks, Ryan. Stacy Pitts Caldwell is the Program Director for the USPAACC Midwest Chapter Spoke. She also brings experiences and knowledge of the SBDC and has founded and operated her own small business. Hello, Stacy.
Hi, Tracy. Thank you for being here. I've been an advocate for small businesses for the last 5 years, and I'm excited and energized to be a part of this program and this talk today.
Fantastic. So we're going to start. I'm going to ask a multitude of questions to each of our spokes, and I'm going to start with the first one. I'm going to be asking Lily and Jay. Tell us what is unique about your spoke and the work that you are doing that has impacted the underserved and unserved Pan Asian American AAPI small businesses in your area. So Lily, I want to thank you for taking me on a tour of Chinatown when I had the ability to visit San Francisco and see your remarkable work. Can you talk about your work in Chinatown and the credit union and Be Chinatown during the pandemic?
Northeast Community Federal Credit Union and Be Chinatown is located in Chinatown, San Francisco. So many of the business is immigrant and they don't understand the system and they don't trust the system. Northeast Community Federal Credit Union and Be Chinatown have this opportunity to help them, to educate them in Chinese, in their own language. And we help them with application, the grant application, city grant, federal grant, and of course the California grant. Many application or many the small business don't have the email address. So we have them create email. That's the hardest part. So they don't have email. Well, all the grant application do require email. So we set up the email. We explain to them the process. We do have them with other applications such as rent relief, and we did a workshop. Especially during the pandemic, there's a lot of lawsuit in Chinatown, ADA lawsuit. So we do a workshop. So the workshop of the workshop in Chinatown, we bring in a lot of people come together, and the workshop is really in person, it's not in Zoom. And we do have a big turnout. So we have almost 200 people attend the workshop because of the lawsuit, of the ADA lawsuit. They don't understand about the procedure of the lawsuit, and when people got sued, they don't understand. Of course, they got a notice, and they don't know where to go. They don't know where to turn. Understanding, explaining, and we refer them to an attorney. Now we get contract of how to explain the lawsuit. That's another big problem that we have with the community. They don't understand the language. They don't understand, the lawsuit. And lately, there's a lot of people behind with the rent. So we're going to conduct the next workshop is about rent relief. So hopefully the landlord and the tenant understand, give them a break and give them a deferred payment. And one thing that we do is, we do one-on-one on the budgeting, credit, of course, and I'm also work very closely with San Francisco Chamber and the Chinese Association. And by doing that, because Chinatown is with a high crime, and we're able to raise funds, to beautify, to bring more light in the community. So by doing that, we have more light, helping them, to bring people back to the community, people feel safer. So business is not really locked down. So because with the high crime, people hesitate to come up to the city. And by doing that, we just did a workshop about, instead of doing the cash transaction, how about doing the technology? So we have a handful of people have interest on that one too. So that's something that we do a little bit, but there's a lot of need in the community that, we have a big plan, but we're working. Thank you.
Thank you, Lily. Your work inspires a lot of people there. I know that the Credit Union B Chinatown have a lot of volunteers that help support you and your community. And so it absolutely shows. And I appreciate your tour and showing me all the work that you have done while I was there. So Jay, the same question applies to you because I know that there has been businesses that have been impacted with the pandemic in your area of Orange County. Can you talk about the consortium of associations and community businesses that are working in support of the ABAOC's CNPP work?
Yeah, through the pandemic, emerging from it, we knew that the only way to grow for businesses out here, to pass the pandemic, is to really believe in the spirit of community. So we've, like USPAACC, really believe in the collaboration within a lot of the associations, ethnic associations out here, from the Filipino Chamber of Commerce to the Vietnamese Chamber, Chinese Chamber, and Korean Chamber. So we all came together to really, work together in our communities to help our business owners. And it's not only just through these associations and chambers, ethnic chambers. We also work with our localities and our municipalities, our cities, our mayors, our city managers, to really work together to give these small business owners within our community access to procurement opportunities. We also partnered with resource partners, organizations like SBDC, USPAACC, the VIB network to get small businesses certified, to be able to access more procurement opportunities out in our community. So we truly believe in the spirit of community. If we didn't, then we wouldn't be here today, because we collaborated with USPAACC, and through that collaboration, we were able to, benefit from the CNPP program, which we're able to create a bigger impact within our Orange County community.
Thank you, Jay. I know that you're doing good work. I know that you have a team of people that you work with. I've met some of your board. I've met some of the organizations that support ABAOC, and it's an honor to have both Lily and Jay with their leadership in supporting the Credit Union, B Chinatown, and ABAOC as our spoke. So this other question is to Stacy and Ryan, because Stacy and Ryan bring a different experience and knowledge to our hub. They represent two spokes, the Midwest chapter and the Northeast chapter of USPAACC. And they have a great deal of knowledge in SBDC. So Ryan and Stacy, you bring your career experiences and knowledge of the small business development centers. And with this experience, can you explain how this will enhance the spoke's ability to support the underserved and unserved Pan Asian American AAPI businesses?
Ladies first.
Yeah, Stacy, go ahead.
Sure. That's a really great question. I have been I led an Illinois SBDC for just about 5 years prior to joining USPAACC. And the SBDC is a powerful network of resources and training for small businesses. So when we think about how to prepare, how to pull resources and connections and access for underserved businesses, the work that I had done in the past really speaks to that. For example, if we understand the key needs of underserved businesses, which are typically access, also technology is a challenge for those businesses. We think about how we're able to pull together innovative programming to reach those communities. I was able to sit on a small business roundtable with Facebook's COO, Sheryl Sandberg, to talk about that. So when you make a lot of noise and really are talking to people about how to help these businesses, people will start to listen. And so when we think about the community that we're targeting and the demographic, we want to make sure that we're taking advantage of the local, federal, and county in the Midwest. In the Midwest case, the county resources that are available to make sure we're connecting these businesses to these resources. That's really key. We also want to be trusted advisors so that small businesses who may not raise their hand to say they need help can see information and resources similar to this talk today to say, oh, I can use that service or I can use that training. And so that's really where the SBDC, in my experience leading that center, comes into play.
Thank you, Stacy. So Ryan, talk about your experiences and your background.
Yeah, of course. Well, Stacey said it pretty well, so I would like to say ditto and then see if that's cuts it. But so the idea is I've been with the SBDC for 13 years. And for anybody who's on watching this who is not familiar with the SBDC, like Stacey mentioned, it's a national network. So there should always be one center per county, that or at least responsible for that county everywhere in the country and a few territories outside. And our role is to be advisors in any aspect of your business development, from a pre-concept and a pre-revenue conceptual business to a business that's been around for a couple of years, as long as it's a small business as defined by the SBA, which the vast majority of our businesses are small businesses. So what do I bring to the table? Because I've been riding in the SBDC chair for about 13, 14 years now, I've been lucky enough to see a lot of success stories. I see a lot of failures, and I'm pulling from each of those experiences to kind of accelerate the next people that I talk to on how to fast track your route to success. At the core, the SBDC does serve underserved communities. So usually it's the businesses that are having access to capital, or I should say, a problem accessing capital, problem growing their business model, their marketing model, and between a collection of different people, because everybody has a unique skill set, and that skill set is might be the missing puzzle piece to complete your picture, because everybody's skill set's a little bit different. So I have the ability to, from my aspect on the financial side, to understand how to get somebody ready for access to capital, whether that means a grant, whether that means a loan, whether that means a partnership. I can pull those pieces together and educate our community on how to be able to access those dollars. Because I've also been with the SBDC for so long, we develop programs and systems that can also accelerate. So these are classes on how to better navigate a contract, for procurement purposes. So there's a lot of different tools that I can pull in from. Also how to identify these underserved communities, because we do have relationships with a lot of different partnerships throughout the community. So all in a nutshell, I think that's what we're all bringing to the table as a team, everybody here.
Thank you, Ryan and Stacy, for your contribution to small business in the past and currently. And so we really appreciate working with organizations that have the expertise to help the hub be successful in our grant, and to be able to help the underserved and the unserved small businesses in your area. So all of the expertise and the knowledge that you come and bring to this endeavor is very, very appreciated. So we really appreciate your knowledge behind all of this. So USPAACC's approach for CNPP is to support underserved and unserved Pan Asian American AAPI small businesses. Some of them have language barriers that cause difficulties in getting the help that they need. Now, I know, Lily, you touched upon being able to work with the folks in Chinatown and being able to provide the assistance they need in language. Can each of you explain what strategies you will be implementing for outreach to the small businesses and what services your spoke will be providing? And I'm going to start with Ryan. I know you just ended, but before you take a breath, if you can tell us about your strategies for the Northeast spoke.
Of course. So we plan on using a lot of technology and partnerships in order to broadcast the assistance and to provide the assistance. So partnerships with community churches, consulate offices, and training people who have the in-language ability to go after that target market we're going after. Other resources that we're developing are videos in-house, in language, of course, that can guide somebody through a particular process, whatever the lowest common denominator of what those problems, challenges could be. So we're developing videos as well as guides and templates in a native language. A lot of our businesses do speak English, but we have a strong command in the language that we feel more comfortable in the language that we grew up speaking. So we want to make sure that we deliver that ability to have those templates, those business plan templates, those financial templates in the language of the person who's looking at it. So those are a few little things that we're doing to make sure that we reach our target audience and make that experience as efficient as possible.
Thank you, Ryan. Stacy, as the Midwest chapter program manager for this spoke, tell us about your strategies. What knowledge and experiences can you bring to this endeavor within language services?
Absolutely. Similar to what Ryan said, I think we have a similar strategy. I just would like to highlight that the Midwest will really focus on connecting these underserved businesses to funding opportunities, to lending institutions, to advising that will help them with application preparation and professional services that are services in their language. I mean, we have access to be able to speak tons of different languages, including Mandarin, Cantonese, Korean, Japanese, and there's several others. And so what's really nice about this opportunity and this team, this collaborative team that we have some national spokes as well that will help us with media and marketing that we can collaborate with. So for example, if I am, there's a business that reaches out and I don't speak Mandarin, then I can call one of the USPAACC team spokes to collaborate with me, get on that call, that video call with me to make sure that we're getting that particular business in language that they need. Our goal is really to identify their need, understand the demographics, where they are in the Midwest. There's a lot of businesses who don't naturally raise their hand to say they need help. And so those are the ones we really want to target, and how to bring the traditional resources that big business and larger businesses have access to. We want to bring those same resources to our small businesses, particularly the Asian American owned small businesses. And I should say Pan Asian American owned small businesses. So that's key. But if I want to break that down into 3 points, I would just say connecting through partner organizations. I would say utilizing our social media networks to communicate in the culture that makes sense. So if these businesses are comfortable raising their hand and saying, hey, I'd love to get some help, or I'd love to just speak with someone. The organizations that Ryan mentioned, like religious organizations, are very important in culture, in the culture. So we want to be mindful on how to strategically work with those churches, figure out if they have any reach that we can tap into to, again, extend all of our services out.
Thank you, Stacy. I appreciate it. Lily, we know that the population that you serve there in Chinatown really is reliant on your being able to speak the language, your being able to understand the culture, and to be able to communicate. And you've talked to us about WeChat. You've mentioned that that's how you communicate and get the message out, and word of mouth is huge in Chinatown. So tell us about how your strategies that you're going to be employing will work with the community and outreach.
The way the Chinatown community is, or Chinese community, they use WeChat. WeChat is very helpful. It's work for us. And another way we do outreach is, we do a PSA on the radio and TV. So to outreach instead of to Chinatown, so we can outreach more to the Bay Area. So word of mouth, of course, instead of Chinese that come to us. So we have Spanish, Japanese, and Korean. The only way we can do it is because we don't speak the language, and we partner with some of the nonprofit organizations. So they have somebody else who can help us translate. So we're able to have some Spanish, Japanese, and Korean with some of the application.
Thank you, Lily. Jay, we know that there's lots of different languages that are spoken in the Orange County area. You touched upon some of them as you were talking about the small businesses and the consortiums that you worked with. Tell us about the strategies that ABAOC is going to be using to be able to do outreach in language for these underserved and unserved businesses in your area.
Yeah, language is definitely a barrier out here. We really lean on our partnered organizations. Like a lot of us here on the panel, we share the same strategies. We really focus on the relationships with these community leaders because it's all about trust, right? There's so much scams out there, and word of mouth is really great because it's all about the people that you trust. So we really work on our relationships with our community leaders. And we utilize the shared resources to break these language barriers. We use technology to bridge the gaps to make sure that they have access to the information, and really leveraging technology platforms like Zoom. We use SMS, mobile applications, social media, name it, we do it. So then that way we're connecting on all fronts. We utilize events to also draw them out, to draw out the community so they could, assimilate with the other ethnic organizations. So, it's a combination of everything. And, we really try to give them, as much access to the information, not only to the information, but also the programming and the people to be able to help these business owners, to get them help for their businesses.
Thank you, Jay. I hear a common theme: collaboration, trust, being able to communicate with the audience that you need to reach. So that's one of the things about USPAACC being a hub here with the Pan Asian American AAPI community is that we have the capability of in-language support. My staff at USPAACC speak multiple languages: Cantonese, Mandarin, Japanese, Korean, Vietnamese, and I'm sure a couple of others that I did not mention, as well as we have a collaboration of spokes that can actually go way beyond that and to be able to help translate, help be able to communicate. We help us understand the culture of the organizations and the small businesses we're reaching out. So with that, we know that every organization has challenges, and it's imperative to anticipate challenges and to mitigate them as much as possible. So as the Community Navigator pilot program progresses, each of the spokes, what challenges do you think that you might need to anticipate, and how will you meet and overcome them with the tools and resources that you have at hand to be able to support these small businesses? So I'm gonna start with Jay again. You've just finished, but I know that continue talking, and I want to hear what you're going to do. ABAOC is going to do to help these small businesses.
One of our biggest challenges, since we're so diverse out here, Orange County is a pretty big county. We have over 42 cities out here, so just being able to reach all the small business owners, we're not going to be able to do it alone, and that's why we believe in collaboration, having help from our municipalities, our city managers. It's all working together, and we really. Our backbone and our framework is going to be on our technology, because that's the only way we can bridge the gap to be able to connect with all these communities. And then, working with the communities together, being able to disseminate the information to the small business owners, whether it's new programming, grants, any opportunities, they need to have access to that instantly. And they need to be able to engage in a way where it's so easy for them that they don't need to, to be able to figure out how to do it. So, you know, it's really making it really easy for them to have access to opportunities and information through a trusted community. And that's what we're trying to build out here, is really bringing everybody together, bringing all the resources together, so it could give maximum value and benefit to our business owners. So that is what we're trying to do together. And we know it's a work in progress, and we'll definitely keep you posted.
Thank you. I know that you have a huge community that you're working with, and that technology experience and the expertise you bring to the table is certainly going to help with some of those challenges. And Lily, what are you anticipating that your challenges may be, and what kind of solutions do you think that the credit union and B Chinatown could deploy to help support these challenges?
It is very difficult to hire a qualified staff that can help me. And of course, I bring a lot of volunteer and a lot of the small business or the community. Just bringing young people in is very hard for them to trust them. So educate them. Hopefully, they can outreach more to the small business. Many businesses who call me up, sometimes I just have to turn them away because it's just overwork. Especially right now, we notice there's a lot of people behind rent, and people don't have the budget or planning. That's something that as a community we need to work together, and hopefully the Asian community can solve the problem. So this is the problem. Is not us. It's all of us. And the tourism is not coming back, and a lot of vacancy. This is something that work very closely with the city and with the community to put everybody together. And hopefully we bring in more education and property owner and business owner, and put everybody together that it can solve the problem. And the problem is way too big.
Thank you, Lily. So we've heard about challenges that is geographic in nature that's going to be mitigated with some technology to be able to get the outreach. And Lily, to be able to get the human resources that you need to be able to work with the small businesses in Chinatown that they can trust are certainly our challenges, and USPAACC is ready to help, and so are our other spokes to be able to help you meet these challenges. Stacy and Ryan, so you may have a different set of challenges. Stacy, why don't you explain some of the challenges that you may anticipate and how you would overcome them? What resources would you use to overcome them?
Sure. Yeah, I think we do have a different set of challenges. I know Lily is capacity, and that is it's a good challenge, right? But I think here in the Midwest, what I think one of our challenges will be is simply building trust within the small business community for Asian American owned businesses. And building trust is always a challenge, especially when we're talking about an organization that is not a part of and may not understand the business community in a particular culture, right? So when you think about building trust, there are ways to mitigate that. And one of the things that I am doing is creating relationships with our local agencies and organizations who already have relationships with the Asian American community. And, I also have to say, having such a great, wonderful, diverse team here at USPAACC is helpful, right? Because we are all advocating on behalf of these businesses. So, figuring out where they are geographically, figuring out what particular services that are really needed to help them grow and sustain really is going to take a lot of work building trust and making sure that businesses understand that we are here for them and advocating on their behalf. And, after the pandemic, I think what we saw was a lot of small business owners, especially minority and underserved business owners, feel like they weren't included, and they weren't included in consideration for funding. They weren't included in help with applications. So that's our focus. And if we can, build this trust with the community, I think we would be great advocates. And then, word of mouth spreads and we can continue helping the businesses.
Thank you, Stacy. We're here to help, and you have other folks that are ready to jump in to help and support you. Ryan, tell me about the challenges you may be experiencing. Now, you're covering not only New Jersey, but you've got some of New York in there as well.
Yep.
We kind of make those two states kind of synonymous with each other, but your spoke covers essentially those two areas.
Correct.
Tell us about the challenges you may experience.
So some of it is geography based. Our headquarter offices is in Hudson County, which is the 6th most densely populated county in the country. And New York and New Jersey both make up 2 of the top 5 most dense communities for Asian businesses in the country. So the first anticipation that we think we're going to have is going to be just the sheer demand of the services that we're going to be able to provide. Stacy made a great point by saying that certain businesses and certain communities did not fully take advantage of a lot of programs that are out there. They weren't able to make it to the application site because they were either unaware or underprepared. And that's what I want to go after. I want to go after these underserved communities that didn't have the resources, the education, the systems, the contacts, in order to be able to take advantage of certain programs that a lot of other counterpart businesses throughout the country are taking advantage of. How we're going to solve it is going to come in a couple of ways. One, like everybody, the common theme today is trust and relationships with other partner organizations, both national and local. And the other one is going to be using technology. So I want to be able to mimic a system very similar to that of a hospital, where there's a triage center where businesses can come in, and based on their needs, they're going to be grouped together. We have to be able to use our resources the most efficiently possible. So we can have some type of a triage system where saying these 5 businesses want to talk about access to capital. These other 5 businesses want to talk about marketing. Then we could be a little bit more efficient with how we allocate those resources to better help our communities. Where some of the technology tools that we're looking at are also going to be to help that. Call centers, of course, in language, different chat services, the way Lily mentioned, WeChat, KakaTalk. These are very important in these communities. And then online systems to help try and access that process, But again, the combination of all these elements, I think, will be able to scale with the demand as the demand rises.
Thank you, Ryan. I appreciate it. And I've been hearing all of this hard work that each of the spokes are going to be doing to be able to help support the small businesses. I know that you're going to have challenges ahead of you. I know that we're going to have some great experiences and help small businesses grow, enhance their capability with your support. And you are only 4 of the 15 spokes that USPAACC has within our network here. And it's very exciting to be able to support the small businesses in your regions. But there's more to this, because obviously you all have stepped up, raised your hand and said, I want to serve. So what motivates you? What motivates you to be advocates for the underserved and unserved small businesses? Lily, I'm going to go with you first. You tell me, what is motivating you? Because you've been doing this for years and years, not just for this program, but for years.
I'm an immigrant by myself. So I'm serving the community for more than 30 years. So I know there's a need in the community. So I become aware of small business who spend a lot of time, 7 days a week, 12 hours a day. So it's an opportunity for me to help, and of course it's an opportunity for me to work with other nonprofit organizations, or of course with the community. Of course, small business who immigrant who work hard, who doesn't understand the culture, who doesn't understand the the language, it's very hard to do a business in it. But they can be they can be doing a good business, but if they don't understand the culture, they don't understand the language, it's very hard. But it's an opportunity for me to serve, and it's an opportunity for me to bring in more young people, bring back to the Chinatown and serving at the same time.
Thank you, Lily, for your service, all the years of hard work and effort that you put into it. And it certainly is paying off in the small businesses that you support. Ryan, you have a similar story. So tell us why you are so motivated to be able to help underserved and unserved businesses.
First of all, I guess we start off with the $1 million paycheck, right? I'm just kidding. We all have. We're doing this on a volunteer basis. This actually comes from something from the heart. And there's two parts to my my motivation. One, I spent about 12 years on Wall Street as an investment banker, and paychecks are nice. But at the end of the result, or at the end of the day, you're making wealthy people wealthier. And aside from a paycheck, there's not much else that I'm being paid, internally. So there's no sole paycheck. Nothing that really resonates well on the inside. Once I started to help out small businesses through the SBDC and USPAACC, there's a huge paradigm shift, and the impact is felt on the inside because I'm helping somebody achieve the American dream. I'm helping somebody, really change social classes or economic classes, and that to me is much more rewarding. And it comes from a personal experience because I myself am the son of immigrants, I should say. My grandfather came here as well with the American dream, and if he would have had access to resources like what USPAACC can provide, his dream would have been reached much earlier on, and he would have been able to enjoy the money that he did make. And that's where I think USPAACC has a very valuable place in a lot of our markets, is because we're being able to bring together the talent from different places without the big talent price tag that comes along with going to one of these big consulting firms. So they're bringing together the opportunity to give you the chance to get a government contract, to get the chance to get access to capital. So I'm doing this thinking that I'm helping out my grandfather. So that's kind of the personal motivation that I have.
Thank you, Jay. I appreciate all that you do. Excuse me, Ryan. Thank you, Ryan. I appreciate all that you do.
Well, I look at Jay. Okay.
Yeah, I appreciate Jay too. So Jay, you're up. Tell me what motivates you, because again, you are also previously you are a small business owner, and you've been supporting ABAOC as a former president of that organization. Now you're spending a great deal of your time and effort in CNPP as a spoke for USPAACC. Tell me what motivates you.
Yeah, for me, I'm a product of the Asian Business Association of Orange County. I've just been so blessed to be affiliated with this organization. It helped my business tremendously. I mean, I'm a entrepreneur since 2010. It's the hardest thing I've ever done, but it's also the most rewarding thing I've ever done. And through ABAOC, I was able to, get certified as a small business owner, which I've never would have done on my own. Through ABAOC, I was able to get connected with utility companies, big corporations. Through ABAOC, I was able to get workshops that have elevated my education as far as how to work with governments, how to work with cities, how to work with utility companies. And through ABAOC, I was able to get contracts and also make invaluable connections, not only as a business owner, but just, personal connections that just have benefited me, whether I'm in community service or just within business. So, that's why I'm so passionate and committed in serving, because I really believe that if I can do it, then I want to be able to share this with all the small business owners in my community, because if we all thrive, then I know that there's going to be more opportunities for everybody. And that's the type of culture that we want in ABAOC where everybody's collaborating and helping each other. And that's where you could build trust and have the relationships that go beyond business.
Thank you, Jay. Congratulations on your success and utilizing the resources through ABAOC that has helped you succeed. Stacy, tell us about what motivates you and what drives you to help others.
Sure. So, like the others, I also am an entrepreneur. I've owned a small business for over 10 years, and it took me a very long time. Like, it doesn't even feel like it's been 10 years. And I feel like I'm just getting the hang of it. So, programs like this and assistance that probably existed, but I wasn't aware of it. So awareness is a big motivator for me to bring awareness to programs like this to underserved and minority-owned businesses. But more specifically, I am an advocate of inclusion, and inclusion means not just when we talk about race or ethnic background, but inclusion is big and small, right? So you need diversity of thought. You need the mom and pop businesses to weigh in. Here in Illinois, 99% of of the economy are small businesses. So small businesses in Illinois are really the backbone of the economy. And so, I'm really passionate about how we think about inclusion and equity and how we advance and how we move forward. So that's a big part of my passion. And then finally, I'll share that all, minority and immigrant families who have started their own businesses, who are pushing to create wealth and legacy for their families, they need it more than anybody else. And so I'm right in line with them. I'm trying to do the same thing. I want to create revenue streams and, wealth and a legacy for my family. And I think that's important, along with having diversity of thought and being inclusive to all minority and underserved business owners so that they can form an alliance and help each other and support each other. And I know that really it starts with us. And that's what we're doing.
Thank you very much, Lily, Stacy, Ryan, Jay, for coming on to Live Talk today. Thank you for sharing what's important for this program, what's important for you to be to create success for others. We really appreciate the good work that your spokes are doing and what you will be doing to support the underserved and unserved Pan Asian American AAPI communities in your service areas of California, Chicago, New York, and New Jersey. So thank you so much for being here and sharing with us. And if you are a Pan Asian American AAPI small business, or you know of a Pan Asian American AAPI small business that would like more information about the Community Navigator pilot program, please come to our website, https://cnpp.uspaac.com, or check out the SBA.gov Partners Counselor Community Navigation Pilot Program. We want you to get the services that you need. We want you to be successful. We're here to help you. USPAACC is a Tier 1 grantee of the SBA Community Navigator Pilot Program, and we are so excited to serve this community. So thank you so much for joining us today. Thank you for tuning in, and have a fantastic rest of your day.
Thank you, guys.
Thanks so much.